Hey class, good afternoon, good Sunday afternoon, and welcome back to Introductory Psychology. This is week 2, and since the last time I recorded and posted one of these videos, I think we've had several students join our class. So yeah, I wanted to talk about that a little bit today, about the first week and about this. So again, just welcome back to everybody. Welcome any newcomers who maybe if you didn't see last week's video or you enrolled, a little bit later in the week and didn't get to see all the materials. Please make sure you go back and also watch last week's video as well. If I go over the syllabus and other materials that I'd like for you to be familiar with. So make sure you read through all of week 1's contents as well. So anyways, I've got to get a list here of things I wanted to talk about. So anyways, the first discussion post, what I noticed is the first discussion post and first response paper that I assigned, I think about more than half of the class, you finished the discussions and your peer replies, and also you turned in, maybe about half of you have turned in your response paper. What I'd like to do, since we had maybe several of you come in kind of later into the class and the week, what I'm going to do is extend everything from week 1 out another week. So if you haven't, if you're new to the class and you haven't had a chance to complete your discussion for week 1, I'm giving you an extra week to do that. If you still haven't turned in your response paper, which is actually technically due tonight, but if you need some more time, I'll extend that out till next Sunday. So just a heads up, week 1, everything is being pushed forward an extra week just to kind of accommodate the kind of busy first week. I for some reason just was not expecting the influx the way it worked out. I don't know why. I just wasn't thinking. So my apologies there. But so if you're new and you need an extra few days or an extra week, that's perfectly fine. Take it. If not, those of you who have turned in your paper or turned in if you've turned in your discussion post, then you're good to go. Don't worry. Disregard this. So. Anyway, so yeah, we're at week 2. We're moving past week 1, which we covered the introduction to psychology. The discussion posts were kind of getting an idea of what you know about psychology coming into the course, and maybe what after you read the chapter, kind of your thoughts as well. So chapter 2, we're going to move into some more specifics. This week, we're going to jump into the chapter on biology and psychology, and I think for some of you this may be very familiar if you've taken a course in zoology, anatomy, maybe even some chemistry, some of your hard sciences courses. A lot of this stuff is going to come up because you're going to be looking at like the nervous system, the brain, the endocrine system, central peripheral nerve. All of these, a lot of anatomy is essentially what I'm saying. Is this chapter is kind of heavy on the anatomy side of things. So if you've taken one of those courses, you have somewhat of a leg up. So for this week, I would like for you to read chapter 2, biology and psychology, or sometimes you see it as biopsychology, depending on the textbook or depending on who, the lecture or whatever. So read about that. Once you're done, you should have a pretty good idea overall what the nervous system is. You're going to start off really small, look at the smallest units in the nervous system, which are, of course, neurons, the nerve cells. You'll look at neural impulses and neurotransmitters like dopamine, acetylcholine, serotonin, all of that feel-good stuff that we feel, at various points throughout the day. Then it'll get a little more specific, getting into the different parts of the nervous system, central versus peripheral. The central is your brain and spinal cord. The peripheral nervous system is all the nerves on the peripheral, other nerves. Lots of diagrams in the book that'll make more sense. You'll also get into the structures of the brain, including the hindbrain, midbrain, and forebrain. Afterwards, after this chapter, you should have a pretty good idea of how the brain works, the different parts of the brain at each level. Including the cerebral cortex. The cerebral cortex is so important. Other organisms have cerebral cortex, but no other species on this planet has a cerebral cortex like us humans do, and that is essentially what allows us to not only survive as a species, but thrive. We do not have sharp teeth, we do not have big claws, and we're not all that fast, but we are very smart relative to other species. So the cerebral cortex. You'll read about that, and it's super important. Then you're going to switch gears and go from the nervous system to the endocrine system. And in terms of like the body communicates with itself in a couple of ways really fast through the central nervous system, and the body communicates very slowly through the endocrine system, like our glands, our hormones, glands, things like that. Your pituitary gland, adrenal gland. I'm sorry, I'm at a loss for all of these terms just floating around my head. The adrenal glands on top of your kidneys send you into fight or flight and things like that. So, and then finally, at the end of the chapter, you're going to take a look at evolutionary psychology and this looking at things like heredity, behavior, and mental processes, and how these have sort of aided, again, not only in our ability to survive as a species, but thrive. So thinking about evolutionary psychology, that might make some people a little uncomfortable in the state of Oklahoma because we're introducing this idea of evolution, but it has nothing to do with, monkeys or coming from monkeys or anything like that. That's total nonsense. It has more to do with how have we been able to survive. I mean, we have, as a species, been alive for a relatively short amount of time compared to the planet, but we've managed to not only live a considerable amount, live within this short amount of time, but we've managed to kind of make this place our own. So how have we done that? Either through our behavior or through what's kind of going on between our ears. So again, just if you see that word evolution, please don't freak out, I promise. It's okay. So there's that. I have a discussion post that is about the autonomic and somatic nervous system. So I would like for you to kind of really focus in when you're reading that, the fight or flight and rest and digest parts of our nervous system. Your discussion will be about that this week. That discussion is posted as I speak. It's due on Friday. This coming Friday, which I believe is the 29th or the 30th, I'm not sure. Let me click on my calendar. I should know this already. I have a meeting that morning, so I definitely should know that. Sorry, it's the 31st. Good grief, I was way off. So your discussion is due on the 31st. Remember, in order to get graded for a timely post, you need to have your initial post in by Wednesday and respond to at least 2 of your peers by Friday. So that's the expectations for the discussion for this week and all discussions going forward. So you'll discuss the nervous system, specifically the fight or flight and the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, rest and digest, and how those have sort of aided in our survival. That is due by Friday, of course. So let's see. I've also posted another response paper, and I didn't mean for it to be this way, but I posted a short ASAP science video for you to watch. It's called 7 Myths About the Brain. I promise not all videos going forward will be about myths. I really didn't mean to do that. It's just the first 2 kind of happen to be that way. So what I would like for you to do is watch 7 myths about the brain. It's a very short video. It's only about 3 minutes long. And so what I'd then like you to do is complete your response paper, which is going to be due on September the 2nd. It's response paper number 2. There's 3 questions. What was the video about? Number 2, what did you learn from the video? And 3, how could you apply this in your everyday experience? So, and since it's such a short video, if you would like to kind of draw upon the readings from the Rathis text as well, that's perfectly fine with me. I'm okay with that. But I would primarily like you to think about the video you're watching now. You're going to be watching this week, and go from there with your response paper. But I'm willing to allow a little wiggle room there. So. Anyways, that's sort of the expectation for week 2. So here's just a really short recap, summary rundown. If you're new to the class and didn't get a chance to complete your assignments for week 1, I'm extending that into week 2. You have 1 full week to do it. After that, it will be considered late and will be entered in as a 0 until either it's turned in or not. Go ahead and read Chapter 2 on biopsychology or biology and psychology. I think it's titled in our textbook. Make sure you read that chapter and really focus in on the nervous system, specifically the peripheral and the, the sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sorry, there's so many terms. It's washing around my head right now. Read that. Your discussion is about the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. That's due Friday. Complete your second response paper about 7 myths about the brain. That is due on Sunday, so a week from today. And if you haven't turned in all your other assignments, please make sure I get those in by the end of week 2. So that's about it for this week's video. I told you they would typically be a lot shorter than the first video. I'll try to make that the case. If you have any questions at all, please respond to the email I'm going to send this video in. Post on the discussion forum if you have questions, any concerns at all, anything like that. Based on, I think it's really cool, our class breakdown so far, just kind of getting, from those of you who have been able to interact in the discussion forum, we have a lot of concurrent students, which I think is really neat. So hello to all of the high school students out there. I'm a former high school teacher, so I think it's wonderful that you're all taking part in this program. I wish more students did either take AP classes or do concurrent, either or. I'm fine with both. Just start taking harder material while you're in high school and get college credit. It's wonderful. And I know I think we have a couple of students I think are a little bit older, not quite high school students, much older than that, but some adult students in the class as well. So I think we have a cool mix. I know it's a smaller class still, but I think we have a really cool mix, and I'm excited to hear your different perspectives. And that's part of why I like this class so much is you get a lot of people coming to psychology for the first time, and a lot of people come with some people come to psychology with a lot that they already know, and some people don't know a whole lot, but they have a lot that they think about. So it's really interesting to see where everybody's coming from. So I'm really looking forward to your discussion post this week and throughout the course. I'm really excited about your response papers as well. These are a chance for me to get to know you. So anyways, there's that. That's week 2. I'm going to leave you at that, and I'll see you all next week for week 3. All right, take care. Week 3. Bye.